Come on now, y'all already know what this is. First things first, God did this. Don't get mad with us. I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. And we got the man that can only check you in to Heartbreak Hotel, Heartbreak Prince. And we also got the legacy maker himself, Mr. Exclusive.
Ah.
Hey, look, y'all already know we are back here again with another great week of wrestling, man. Let's go ahead and get right into it with 3 hours of fire talking about Monday Night Raw, baby. So, we talk about a couple of things, man, when we talk about Monday Night Raw. Now, the funny thing is, before I really even go back into my normal thing that I would normally say, because it wasn't 3 hours of fire, it was 2 hours and 30 minutes of fire, 2 hours and 30 minutes of heat, 2 hours and 30 minutes of nonstop storytelling that just keeps getting better. And man, I can't lie, man. We started off the show getting yeeted up. Yeeting, going crazy. Jey Uso, yeah, crowd was going crazy. Until all of a sudden, he disappeared. What happened? Oh,
Whoopsie.
Gunther just came out of nowhere. Gunther just goes there, just goes on full attack, throws him on the announce table, takes off his jacket. By the way, he takes the jacket and throws it at a kid. Yeah. It's crazy. Nobody even talks about this. This is insane. Throws it at a kid, goes back to Jey Uso, throws him in the ring. Now, Jey Uso tries to get a couple of hits in, doesn't work out. Gunther still dominates. Then he does this whole thing. Guys in the back are coming, bringing him back, pulling him back. Jey Uso comes, he grabs the mic. Real emotional. Takes a few breaths in, stops, and he says, Gunther, I choose you for WrestleMania, Uso. So now the table's set. Now we know the match has now been set for Jey Uso versus the Ring General. And honestly, I think this is going to be good. And I think when we look at this, I think we're already kind of looking at so far what they kind of showed. Just little small nuggets of what they did from Saturday night's main event, showing us how close it is when Jey Uso is when it comes to that championship title. It also shows, too, when he won the Intercontinental title, how the crowd went crazy for that. And I think we're going to see that same type of energy, if not more, on night, I would say definitely it's got to be night 2 for WrestleMania 4. Yeet. What y'all think, man?
I gotta let you go first, D-Lo.
All right, cool. I'm in there. All right, so here's my thing. I think they've done a good job of setting this up properly. I think we all kind of knew that. I think we all kind of knew there was going to be Jey and Gunther. After Jey won the Rumble, to me, him and Cody wouldn't have made sense. I mean, they could have pulled it off, but I don't think it would have had the same luster. Those other potential world champions in the mix, those guys, I just don't. Not that they wouldn't have great matches with Gunther. Wouldn't say they wouldn't have great matches with him. But what I will say is I just think that storyline-wise, it was all set up for this to happen. And who better to help put Jey Uso into ultra level of where he is in his popularity right now than probably top 5 wrestler in the world. I mean, if you take all of the promo and everything out of just top 5, maybe even top wrestler in the world in Gunther, somebody who just, when he's in the ring, he commands respect. And that's what we saw in that promo. He went out there Or we saw in that segment where he went out there, knocked my man over, flipped him on the chair, threw his coat at a kid. Crazy work. The funniest part about that is the kid's backlight. So, Eric, shout out to you for the picture, because the kid's face of the being knocked back 400 feet is priceless. But the way it was done, well, the way they've switched it to make it seem like, hey, Gunther's mad because he is tired of all of these guys out here eating and all that stuff, and he's pure wrestling. Almost gives you a hint of Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart from the WrestleMania that they had the Iron Man match, because we all knew that Shawn Michaels was the glitz, the glamour, and Bret Hart was the technician. And I think that's what we're getting in this match to an extent. Maybe not the same, but I think it's predicated on that type of match where I think we could see something really special, a really fun matchup. I know you said night 2, but I mean, I think this is a night 1 main event, only because it also depends on who wins the Elimination Chamber. That I'll be able to determine for sure. Because if Punk wins the Elimination Chamber, I'm almost 100% Punk's going to get that spot. Because I mean that's what he wants. I mean, obviously, right, night 1, but I think that contract was, I want to be the headliner. So if he wins, I say they get night 2. But if not, I agree with you. Night 2 will go to Jay and Gunther, because the energy in there is going to be insane if Jey Uso pulls this off.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really much to follow up on behind that. I mean, everything is this week kind of fell into place as far as what we kind of imagined it being. I love the segment, the beginning segment with Jey Uso and Gunther. I like how it went down. I kind of feel bad because I don't know how I feel about Gunther's run. As good as he is and as talented as he is, and as much as I love Gunther, I don't know if he really had the challengers that, as far as talent goes, and title defenses, that were like memorable during his run. But I think this right here, sadly enough, is going to be one of those matches where it's going to be a great match, but it's also going to more than likely be his last match as the current champion, because we know the championship is going to Yeetville. And so and I mean, I'm happy for what I think is to come. But yeah, I mean, Gunther, I mean, he is the perfect choice for Jey Uso. I would have much rather see him face Gunther than Cody. And so yeah, I think we're getting what we wanted here.
Yeah. I agree, man. I 100% agree. I think even too, when we look at this whole thing with Jey Uso, I think it's really just that energy. I think he just really brings that energy, and that's why I really do feel like him being there for night 2, I think him winning it, I think definitely with him winning the Royal Rumble, him bringing that whole energy, everything as a whole, I think him coming around for night 2 and winning it all, I think that's just going to set the tone. I think that's going to give, like, I'm not going to say like that Cody finishes the story, but I think it might be even a little bit better. I think that pop's going to go crazy. I mean, obviously, we seen the pop when he got the Intercontinental title, and that pop was insane. And I think this one, on the grandest stage of them all, I think this one's going to be even better. Might be a really big a teardropper. For real.
Yeah, I think the energy for that match could be really good, and the way that Gunther beat him down on Monday, just man, that was top notch heel right there. I mean, the way he beat him, I'm like, oh, this is ugly, man. Like, you gotta treat him like that. But I like how they're using the storyline, because I feel like now Gunther's just irritated by him, and that's the vibe that comes from me. Like, oh, he's getting on my nerves. Like, I'm tired of him. Like. And it's almost like I should be the one getting all the glory. I'm the champion, and no one's talking about me. That's the vibe. Also, like, that kind of vibe that's coming from it. It's I
can't think of any good title defenses he's had to make the crowd talk to.
He has.
There isn't.
He's had.
He's been champion since what was it? SummerSlam.
Yeah.
SummerSlam.
And then the one
Damian
match that
Priest won twice.
Damian Priest. That was it.
The one match that could have put him over was him beating Cody. I think, and I knew that we all knew they wasn't going to let him beat Cody.
Yeah.
But if he'd have beat Cody, I think that could have changed some things. He was like, he could have had them bragging rights over. This is your champion. I beat him. Like it could have been that. I see that. But I agree that his title reign is it's what Cody's was. Like we talked about last week. It was what Cody's was before Kevin Owens came in there. Now, Jey Uso is going to do what I think Kevin Owens did for Gunther. So if Gunther does win this, and he beats their popular champion, everybody's popular champion, that I think that will give him a boost heading on. But I think in most people's eyes, they don't see Gunther winning this. But that's something that we have to really, really think that could happen. Like if they want to extend this, he could win it, and maybe this is, he doesn't win it there, but maybe SummerSlam. We could see a 6-month thing. We've seen how they've been able to stretch storylines of like CM Punk and Drew and Seth, that whole thing. So don't be surprised if he wins it. There's gonna be a lot of upset people, but that's what WWE wants. They want people to come back hoping that he can pull it off at some point. So
it kind of reminds me of the Roman Reigns Cody fight. In their first meeting at WrestleMania, we all, but I definitely thought Cody was gonna go over on that first WrestleMania, and Roman retained, and then retained for another year.
Yeah. And that's Triple H's type of thinking. That's why I said I think everybody in their mind, including myself, this is Jay's.
Yeah.
But this would be the match where it isn't Jay's. So you know what I'm saying? Like this is the match and it isn't Jay's. And you'd be like, what the what were you? So everybody's mad the next day, but everybody's gonna watch Raw the next day because they want to know why.
Want to see.
Yo, what was this all about?
And I was going to say, and maybe we don't have two title changes, world title changes, at this WrestleMania. So that might be a thing too, because
that's a strong possibility.
I definitely feel like if CM Punk, who is my pick to win this Elimination Chamber, is going to face Cody, and I think this is going to be, his moment to kind of get the title and run with it. But real quick before we change up, my wonder is, and my question about the whole thing with Gunther is, does Raw lack the world heavyweight title charisma as far as people competing for it, like the type of people that will be competing for it? Because Gunther really only has Damian Priest. Finn Balor has been down and out for years now. I don't think they're ever going back to him. Every time you think they get ready to give him a push, he's done. And I'm trying to think who else is left on the main roster that, USA has that charisma that, would have been good to have matches with Gunther for the title, because Jey Uso's about to be in the same belt. It seems like all of the main contenders
are in SmackDown.
Over in SmackDown.
It's crazy. And it's crazy, especially with Netflix, because you would think that you would have loaded up, the other way. And they didn't. So that kind of does leave them in a really bad spot, because now a couple months ago that wasn't the case. It was a complete opposite, where you had Seth and you had CM Punk, and technically Punk is on Raw, but I mean, obviously if he wins, he's going to SmackDown. So now you have no star power on there. That's a problem. Like you need at least 3 to 4
people
on each brand that can, and then those potential guys that could sneak up and be the next people rising. You need that level as well. SmackDown has all of that.
Like, and I feel like Jay was one of those people, like you said, that came up, that kind of rose up through this, because there's not really a strong contingent of just, I would say, main roster superstars. Not saying that, the roster sucks or anything of that nature. I just mean when it comes to the championship title, like, who really could have challenged Gunther and be considered legit? I mean, Seth. We had Seth, but Seth was out on injury. Then I think he was out filming a movie, and so it was a lot going on there. And so I don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe one of my picks, I would have said probably Drew McIntyre. If anything, that would have been one guy I think they should have definitely had him as a contender going up against Gunther, because I think just the work he's been putting up with Punk, I think he shows so much with that, and I also think just in general. I think even him just going. I think even if he would have got that second chance at the title, I think he would have definitely been like, just, it would have been like just so much of a hunger. I think it could have really turned up. I think even when if I even went to thought about like thinking about when he was just attacking people in the back, Like if he was doing that to Gunther or just like whatever, I think that could have really worked for his title run. But
Yeah,
They had him so focused
That'd have
on
been
matches
more.
with CM, which they were good matches. So I mean, I'm not gonna complain about that. But
yeah.
well, I mean,
I just feel like Gunther didn't have a good chance to really show off his, his talents.
I think a part of it also is just like he's a great wrestler, but and he's not terrible on the mic. I think the problem is the people on the main roster haven't really, I don't know if they've gravitated fully to him the way he possibly could be. But I think what we saw Monday is what his
That was
character.
with Gunther.
That's what they need from now on. Like he has to be a ruthless, nasty mother sucker between now and however how long he had that title, and even after that, like he has to be the sneak attacker. I mean, he got to come in here and just. Well, why are you so nasty to folks? Because I'm the best. Like I need that, like all the time.
Yeah.
So Monday's a good template. I don't think he's done yet. I mean, Jay's going to get beat up a lot.
Oh yeah.
Between now and WrestleMania, April 19th and 20th is a long ways away. And so that's where they got to kind of go with his character, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that's why I used to be a little confused when it came to Gunther, because it was like for a while they was just kind of playing him like he was weak. And even that when he was doing the whole thing with Cody, he was like, "Can I beat Cody?" Bro, what? You're the ring general. You shouldn't have to question this.
Yeah.
Why are you asking Lou and Kaiser if you're good enough? You brought him on the team. What? That looks crazy.
Yeah. He was teetering for a while. That's like you remember that period where they kind of trying to seem like they were trying to make him face.
Yeah.
And they didn't quite make it.
They didn't quite go there.
They didn't quite go there, but they were like hinting at him like, this I don't like. He's giving Ludwig some motivational advice and stuff. Like, where's the guy that was treating him like a stepchild? And that's one. That's one that if he does extend past when they break up as their friendship, like that's going to be a good storyline to push, even if it's not Ludwig winning the title, obviously, but that'll be a good storyline to help push that scenario. But it really will depend on like that. But that's what I like about this new regime. Like it's not a guarantee that Gunther's going to lose his title. It's not a guarantee that Cody's going to lose. You just have to sit and watch and see how they play it out. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about titles and defense titles. Well, my question is because after that whole situation with Jay and Gunther, Bailey and good old Lyra Valkyria have a match. And the first thought that came to my mind, why is Lyra Valkyria even the Intercontinental Champion? I've yet to see this girl defend this title at all. Why did we give her this?
And she still lost.
It's dumb. And she still loses. You go in a Royal Rumble with the title. You lost that. You go into this qualifier match for the Elimination Chamber. You lose that. At this point, lose the title and just go away. I'm sick of this. I am sick of Lyra Valkyria. I am. I didn't mind her in NXT. I thought she was cool. I get it. Let's push over. She was from Ireland. I get it. She got the buzzer from Becky. You beat Becky in NXT to get the NXT champion. Okay, I understand that. Why are we pushing this girl to the moon like this? And she hasn't had any build for anything. I think she's great in the ring. I would never say she's not good. I'll always say that she can throw down in the ring. But there's nothing about her that makes me feel like I'm invested. Y'all put this title on this girl, and every time I see her, I just say, why?
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 Tell me why.
Nature. And I ain't talking Michael Jackson.
I never want to.
Tell me why. We just want to know why.
I want to know why. Why put this on this title? Why put this on the title for her? There's no story behind it. You could have put it on Dakota Kai. All these women you have on this roster. I'm sorry. Just something that I seen and I just said this is one where I like everybody's saying this and I just don't get it.
Yeah. The push has been really it's crazy because it's like you said, no storyline behind it, and they're doing nothing really to really promote that title. Like the Intercontinental title is supposed to be prestigious, okay? And we talked about last week, like the U.S. title, even though it's been a couple of defenses, it still feels like it's the better of the, like, at least person wise, it's the better of the titles right now. Like I'm invested in whoever Chelsea Green is going to go after, or whoever's going to come after Chelsea Green. I'm invested in that because Chelsea Green is fabulous.
Yeah,
fabulous.
Yeah,
and Lyra's got the talent, but she's got a Gunther problem where so you're so great, but like, what do you do at this point? Do you turn her heel? Like, you have to do something to switch her character up, or give the title away, because she's just has the title just to say I was the first Intercontinental Champion, and it's not going to be memorable at all.
And I think the problem with that too was there's so many people that was already on the roster that had been putting in the work for a minute, and then just got passed over, And I mean, I'm sure Triple H and the squad have their reasons of why they wanted Lyra and all that kind of stuff, but I just don't think. I think she was just so new to the roster that not enough fans, especially if you don't watch NXT, would have been, invested enough in her to, to want to cheer her on and see her be champion. There's a few other wrestlers I could have thought of that would have been, great to be the first time holders of the championship, but she. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what they're doing with her, because she give her the belt and then she's still losing. And I mean, I don't. It's not. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. So when she loses the title, you're like, okay, that's right. Like that's what's been happening. Yeah. Like, it's like one of the worst title reigns I've ever seen. Like, and this is right up there with how those tag team titles were being tossed around in the beginning. And then this is right there. This is another example of them maybe at times not knowing how to use the women.
Utilize.
Like, where's Stephanie McMahon when you need her? Like, I need Stephanie McMahon to come over there and run that thing. Somebody got to do something. You know what? No, scratch Stephanie. Give me my man, my man, the myth, the real legend, future Hall of Fame, in my opinion, Mr. Fit Finley. My name is Finley, and I love to fight. All of the women, all of the women have talked about how important Finley has been to their development in the last 10, 15. If you go back to like that era where Michelle McCool, shout out to Michelle McCool, the next Hall of Fame inductee, they made her cry on ESPN. I was tearing up last night watching. It was stupid. I don't know why I was crying. but that's like, they need somebody who can really get them through. And maybe he's done a really good job of helping those women develop as great wrestlers throughout the, ever since he stopped wrestling himself. You got to get somebody in there that can help push this thing along. And I said it last week, I'll say it this week. They may need their own show. They may need their own show where they can just focus on the women. People are going to watch, because heck, look, if you just look at what NXT is doing, most people watch NXT because of the women. So the show would work. You can't tell me that it wouldn't. They've got to figure it out, though. They got to figure it out.
Yeah, they do. I think it kind of feels like they just gave every brand a mid-card title for the women and said, all right, here you go. But the only one that's really thriving the best is, again, NXT. The first one that did it is the best one that's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And since we're talking about NXT, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's go ahead and talk about NXT before we talk about one of the main things. Because we're talking about the women's division and what they're doing and how they're constantly correctly utilizing their mid-card. Sean, thank you for constantly cooking up, because you got the chef's hat. I couldn't say this more enough, man. I love what they're doing with this. One of the first matches that we've seen from NXT coming up was Bayley going up with Cora Jade, and then all of a sudden we're seeing Roxanne Perez coming out in the 2014-2019 Bayley get up, going crazy.
That was fire.
People.
That was pretty good.
That was great.
Very heelish. Very heelish of you.
I loved it. She came out, killed it. Now we're seeing a fatal 4-way match at Vengeance Day with them. But I love how they're utilizing everything with that whole situation. First of all, let's give it up to Bayley. Bayley is popping up on every show. weekly. I mean, this girl, talk about a workhorse. I mean, this girl is constantly going into a match every day. I'm like, yo, when do you take a day off? She don't. Bailey's going crazy. But, we talk about a few things with NXT. One thing I didn't really care to like that I seen, my man Trick Willie Wonka. First of all, he declared and he told Eddie Thorpe he's going to whoop his ass. That's what he said. That's what he said.
He did.
That's what he said. With the belt. Now, yeah. I don't like to see my man Trick Willie. First of all, I don't like seeing anybody getting beat on Black History Month. Let's just get that on the way.
Crazy work. The disrespect is out of control.
Whipping my man on Black History. That's crazy. You can't do that to Trick Willie Wonka, man. That's insane. That's crazy. You ain't gonna do that to my man.
Hadn't even gotten to Valentine's Day yet. We out here just taking beatings.
Just loud whips. I mean, these are
Abraham Lincoln's birthday was on Wednesday. Hadn't even got set free yet. This is how they treat my man at the beginning of the month.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That was a ferocious kick strap to the back too.
It was crazy, man. And of course, one thing I love to see was, got to talk about Miss Parker real quick with Kalani. Her and Lonnie, boy, every time they are stepping up in front of the camera, I'm like, man, more and more. I'm telling y'all right now, this is going to be a PLE match that I know they are cooking up for something great. I can't wait to see that. But you sound like you had something to say, Mr. Exclusive. What was that?
No, man. I was listening to the greatness. No, I had nothing to say really. No. You continue spewing. I'm listening right now. This stuff formulating in my head. You go ahead, brother. You go ahead.
Okay. I thought I seen something. I thought I said something. But one big thing we gotta really talk about, because this man has been almost MIA. Now, if y'all don't know, y'all haven't heard, the absolute, the man himself, Ricky Starks, comes up. By the way, came out of nowhere. Just, you heard a voice on the mic, and all of a sudden this man just pops up. And he says, I'm here, ain't I? I'm here. He's here for where the best brand is at. To see Ricky Starks, first of all, the last time we seen Ricky Starks on AEW, last time I seen him was on Collision, facing CM Punk. After that, I haven't seen Ricky Starks. And then when you look back, the last time we seen Ricky Starks was on Chris Van Vliet. He talked about, he's like, I'm healthy. I'm just waiting. But they haven't had anything for me. He gets released. What happens 2 days later? Ricky Starks pops up. The absolute, the man himself. You see it. Come on. It's going crazy. Now, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with my man Ricky Starks. Because if you want to talk about star power, you want to talk about somebody that's got that natural charisma, you want to talk about somebody that's got that natural stardom to him, we talk about absolute Ricky Starks, okay? That man's been killing it. Let me tell you something. I've been watching this man since when I seen him the first time on NWA. When the NWA came back in 2019, that man came back, and I said, who is this guy? Who is this man right here? Killing it. Went up against Zicky Dice. If y'all remember who Zicky Dice, that guy was crazy. But when I seen Ricky Starks, I said, everything about this guy, he's got it. He has got it. He's got the star power. Now, this is a future star, not even in the making. He's him. And I ain't talking Carmelo Hayes. He's him. Okay? Ooh, this man has got it. He's got it. Okay? He's got it. Everything about Ricky Starks, he's got the natural wrestling, just in-ring ability. And, I mean, we could talk about his work on the mic. Can you only imagine how many people we could possibly see him go toe-to-toe with on the mic? Now, again, this is another guy from AEW that is coming to NXT. Now, of course, we've talked about this before. Sometimes when people come from AEW and go to NXT, sometimes you might just break out for a little bit, and then you kind of settle in dust for a little bit, and then you just disappear, and maybe you might pop back up. But that pattern has now broke. We've seen the pattern break with Ethan Page. We've seen the pattern break, of course, with Lexis King. All right, now, what are your thoughts? I want to throw
Sean Spears in there, too.
Oh, matter of fact, and I'm glad you said that, because what Sean Spears is doing is he's going crazy right now, too. With him, Izzy Dan, and I mean, just everything that Sean is doing, the chairman, okay? We see now that curse is no longer a thing. What are y'all's thoughts on what Ricky Starks could possibly do?
I'll let you go, D'Lo.
All right, cool. Well, I was definitely gonna let you go. I was like, gentlemen first, you know.
Yeah.
But here's my thing with this. I love what they've been able to do, like you said, with the last couple of people that have come from AEW. Now, a lot of people, if you're an AEW person, if you're a big AEW fan and you see this person move from AEW over to NXT, so, oh, that's a downgrade. Now, when you check those numbers, now when you check how those ratings have been going up against each other the last, probably the last like almost a year now, where AEW and NXT are pretty much neck and neck on a week-to-week basis. So this is not a downgrade. So anybody that thinks that, you tripping. Now, what I will say is that I'm not ashamed to say, like, I knew of Ricky Starks. I hadn't fully paid attention to him in the ring. After this happened, I went and checked out a video. And sometimes you can just vibe it. I sat there and I watched this man and I said, yeah, he got, just like you said, he's got it. And some people just know how to talk on the mic, and he is so brilliant on the mic. Obviously, a lot of people make fun of him because of the whole Edge thing and, the over the edge and him calling him, Edge was actually, if people go back and really look at that promo, Edge was terrible on the mic in that promo. Yeah. So everybody who wants to like trash Ricky Starks for that promo, no, Edge was bad in that promo and he couldn't think of nothing good. So he called it an imitation rock. So unfortunately it stick because Edge is Edge. But even with that being said, yes, you want to call him an imitation rock. They said the same thing about LA Knight, but these people are great on the mics. So now we're going to shame people for looking up to people that they cared about when they were growing up. Okay, fine. That's what you want to do. You do that. But he's not the same as The Rock. And what the vibes I got from him, yes, he has so much swag that when people see a person with so much swag, the first person they go to is, oh, he's just like The Rock, because that's what The Rock had. He had natural swag and knew how to talk on the mic. And that's what this young man has. He's going to be great for NXT. He is going to be great for NXT. All he is doing, he said it himself, is like the future is here. He's about to raise the future bar up to here for NXT. They're already doing great. And it's just going to take it to another step. So I love that he's coming there now. I think he's going to do great things. My man, I never thought I'd say this. My man, Ethan Page, every week that he's on there, I'm just like, yeah, this guy right here. Yeah. It took me a while. Like I told y'all a couple of weeks ago after the rap, I was like, I think they've got something here. So they're slowly building a really good, like, overall roster. Yes, we always talk about how good the roster is, but like they're really building a solid platform on this roster. So once again, shout out to Shawn Michaels. I know y'all probably say y'all are on Shawn Michaels nuts every week, but I do not care because the man, the legend, cooking. The man is cooking. So that's me. That's just me.
Yeah, I see Ricky Starks being the main guy pretty. I ain't gonna say pretty soon because you still got to deal with the ruler, Obafemi. But and I don't see him losing the belt anytime soon until it's time for him to go ahead and go to the main roster, which hopefully Triple H takes care of him when that does happen. But Ricky Starks, I think, definitely has the talent to be the main guy in NXT and kind of carry that brand. Especially with him, Ethan Page, like you mentioned, we were in the same boat, kind of felt the same way about Ethan Page. He's definitely grown on me. And then, Trick, they have a good, solid roster of talent, especially talent that you can see carrying the brand for NXT. And now you add Ricky Starks to that, his charisma, his charm, his ability in the ring, his abilities on the mic, and which, like you said, D'Lo, as well, it's one of those things too where just like what's my boy LA Knight, people give him a lot of flack for being like The Rock or like Stone Cold and things like that on the mic, but they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So these are people that they grew up watching, they grew up liking, they idolized or whatever, and so to kind of give you a bit of that mixed in with their character and their personality, I don't see anything wrong with it personally because I'm the Heartbreak Prince and I love Shawn Michaels. So I feel like if I ever was in wrestling, he would be somebody that I would try to imitate, like a Dolph Ziggler. Hopefully not completely to that level, but yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it, and I know people give give wrestlers like this a lot of flack for not being original or whatever. But I mean, at this point in time, we've seen so much done in wrestling with characters and things of that nature. I don't mind it. But yeah, it's a good thing that Ricky Starks is in NXT, and I could definitely see him being a head, a person that can carry the brand. If he ever gets to that point where he's the champion.
Yeah, definitely can see him as a top guy. It's kind of crazy. Like, we look at Ricky Starks, and he has that ability to be the top guy, 100%. And he wants to be that guy. I mean, he said that multiple times that's what that's the main thing they've always been saying. If you're not working to be that world champion, then what are you doing it for?
Yeah.
And that's what he really feels in himself, that who he truly is. And I 100% agree with him. I think he's got it. Everything about Ricky Starks, he's got that natural ability to be on the mic. I know he's one of those guys easily. He went toe to toe with MJF and was good. And it's like, in my opinion, if you can go with MJF and survive, hey, you got it.
Yeah, you guess what?
You got it.
That is my boy.
Man, I'm telling you, man. Even Jacob Fatu said MJF. He was like, "Yo, MJF helped me, with my promo. He told me just to be myself, be natural." He said, "This guy just really knows what he's talking about. That man knows what he's doing." MJF, man, you're a legend, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's greatness. I mean, you can't say anything else about it. I mean, they have really. God, I just love this wave of wrestling that we're in right now. And just seeing where, I feel like Starks is going to be, I'd say within maybe 3 months, a champion. Like, if you're the Don, you need to be worried. I'd hate to say it. I don't know if they're going to take Oba's title right away. I think he has it at least until Mania season. But if I'm the Don, I'm worried. I'm worried initially because I think he's got because they're still trying to figure out what his name is going to be. Because from what I'm hearing, that's why he didn't say who he was in particular, because they're still trying to figure out if he's going to be able to use the name, I guess, from what I was hearing. So if that's the case, so that's why he didn't say his name during the promo. That's why he was like, "You guys, you know who I am," and da 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 da. He didn't say his name because they're still trying to work that out. So once they figure that out, hopefully it does get worked out if it hasn't already been worked out. But it's just one of those things that they've got. I feel like he's got it. It may happen. It maybe even happen in Mania weekend. So I'm worried for the Don. I'm worried for him because it's just
already worried for him.
Yeah, it's like the Ethan Page type of thing, because Ethan Page came in. Now I'll be honest with you, I didn't know as much about Ethan Page when he came in, but it made sense once I started hearing him. I'm like, yeah, that's why they gave him the belt. That's why they gave him the belt. And this guy can talk. Your champion should always be a great talker.
Yeah,
unless you have a great mouthpiece to talk for him. It's one of those two things. If your champion can't talk, he's not gonna have the title on.
And he needs a Paul Heyman.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So I don't think Oba's losing the title right away. So I think that's safe. But who knows? I may be wrong. He may lose it tonight.
Oh no, that ain't happening.
I don't think so.
That ain't happening.
I can't see that happening.
Have my man Grayson Waller, the NXT champion.
The Waller effect.
Hello, everyone. Let me stop that. That's not racist. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. That was my terrible Australian impression. So I apologize for everybody out there.
Oh man. Well, we talked about NXT for a good little minute because we got to talk about it a little bit later. Let's get to the best part of last night. Let's talk about Friday Night Smackdown. So, this actually is really 3 hours of heat, 3 hours of fire, 3 hours of nonstop storytelling that just keeps getting better, baby. And look, I want to talk about a few things. I ain't going to talk about the main thing yet, but we got to talk about a few things that will SmackDown, because there's a few things that happened, okay? First things first. Before I talk about anything else, I gotta talk about the Street Profits, baby. Look, they're cutting Fire promos last week. Went crazy. This week. Went crazy again. Now they're out here marking hits. They put the whole tag team division legitimately on notice. And honestly, I'm loving it. What Montez said now, woo! I love that. I love that. I love when he does that. That is one of my favorite parts to see when Montez is doing that. And honestly, Angelo Dawkins killing it. My man's upset. And honestly, to see this different side of Angelo Dawkins, I'm loving it. And I ain't talking McDonald's. Because everything what he's doing right now, it's like my man is so pissed off. He been chill for years. And y'all done brought my man Angelo Dawkins to a point of no return. So upset. So pissed. But I love it. And honestly, it seems like, and again, in my opinion, because I'm calling this now, I'm telling y'all, I have a huge, big feeling in my gut, pause, that the Street Profits will win the tag team gold at WrestleMania.
That's a good word. That's good. I agree, though.
I was waiting for you to hit your no did it.
I was like, no did it. I was trying to. That was a good one. That was a good one. We knew what you meant, bro.
Oh man, thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Yes,
yes,
man. No, but I agree with you. I do see it happening. I think championship glory is around the corner for the Profits. You know, it's something we've been talking about at least for the last year. You know how the Profits always seem to be, just shy of being able to capture gold. For as good as they are on the mic, in the ring, you would think that they would be a mainstay, a headliner for WWE. But it for some reason, they always seem to be passed over. And so this kind of recreation of themselves has been fire these last couple of weeks. They're starting to cut these kind of dark promos that kind of put this like serious edge around them. And I'm digging it, and I like it. I like seeing Dawkins, this version of Dawkins. Ford, we know he's talented enough to go either way. He could be that happy-go-lucky face goofball, but he can also be, he can have this serious edge to him too. And so seeing Dawkins match that energy has been great. And I feel like we are set to see a phenomenal match, especially if this carries all the way over into WrestleMania, because you're talking about DIY and especially if they still have the titles, but DIY and Street Profits. And we saw 4 months ago, whatever it was, the match that they put on when they, to try to be a contender to face who was it?
Bloodline at that point, yeah.
Bloodline. And that match, I mean, A1 banger. And so if you give me that at WrestleMania, hey, I'm locked in.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I 100% agree. I'm telling you, man, look, them Profits ain't playing, boy. They about to go crazy. And I can't wait, man.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it now.
Swag is on 1,000 right now. And that's what I like to see.
Yeah.
I like to see.
Oh, man. And another thing we got to talk about, we can't just talk about SmackDown if I didn't talk about the man with the magic boot, the man that they call the werewolf. You already know what it is. The man Jacob Fatu. Hell, you seen what he was doing. Hell, you know what he was doing. Hell, and you know what he was about to do. Look, let me tell you something. That promo he cut, insane. He cut an immaculate promo with Cody. Then goes backstage, and Solo says, Jacob, I love you. Not gonna lie, made me think, is now Solo stepping down? And is it now time for the Samoan werewolf to step up and show who could possibly be the next tribal chief?
That's interesting because I saw it and I said, I think they're gonna fight each other at some point. That's the first thing I thought. But him stepping down could be a play on Solo's part where he's, before the turn happens. Because I think Tonga, and whenever Loa gets back, I think they'll be more loyal. I know it's gonna sound crazy, but I think they're probably gonna end up being more loyal to Solo. Solo brought him in, and I think that they'll attack Jacob, and they'll make that a storyline at some point. That's some point. But I think a funny part that I don't know if a lot of people caught, but when he was talking to Cody, he circled him just like a wolf. He circled around him when he was talking to him. I said, "Oh yeah, do you? Ooh, that's the first thing that came to my mind." I said, "Ooh, that's strategic right there." And I saw how he just walked around him, said what he had to say, and then I said, "Ooh." I said, "Boy, the man with the magic boot is a dangerous mother sucker." You hear me? So I love everything I saw. Love everything I saw. Love it. Yeah, absolutely love it.
I think they gotta be making note of this as far as Triple H and the team. Like they really do have another star rising on their hand, especially if they give him the time of day, the storylines, things of that nature. I think the Samoan Werewolf, I could see him becoming a huge factor going into next year. Next year's WrestleMania and all that kind of stuff. Because he's great on the mic, he's great in the ring. I think he is what Solo. I guess what we wanted Solo to kind of be when Roman Reigns kind of stepped out of the picture and it kind of tried to make this Bloodline 2.0. And we were saying back then, you get more of that edge, that vibe, and everything from the Samoan Werewolf than you do from Solo, and now it's looking like it's getting ready to be Solo. The Samoan Werewolves, time to run run the team. And now I don't know where this is going to go. As far as I have a feeling this is going to have a match between Solo and the Samoan Werewolf. You kind of see the seeds of that. But I'm also getting this vibe, at least yesterday, from the kind of promos and thing that was going on there, that Solo's getting ready to have this like face turn to him or something like that. Maybe team go back with Roman after the feud that they seem like they're about to have, because when he told the Samoan Werewolf, "Hey, I love you," he got no response. Then later on, you see him give the spike, and miss and hit what's his name, Tama. And so I don't know. And you saw the look that the Samoan Werewolf gave, and so I feel like there's some seeds being planted here of like them having some type of falling out, and then I think Solo's going to end up back with Roman. But we'll see. This is the fun stuff when you start seeing new little storylines of your brain start thinking about, I think I see where this is going.
Yeah, I mean that's what makes it better. Remember, like last year after Roman lost, we were like, where are they going with this thing? Because we really didn't. The Bloodline situation, we didn't know what it was, and we were a lot of people were critical, including myself. We were all critical of it because like this is not working,
right?
And I heard people chirping last night. It's like, where are they going with this? This doesn't make sense. Give it time. Like I feel like when it does happen, you can be like, oh wow, like that's gonna be the type of reaction that we get from it when it does go down. So yeah, just let them cook. Let them cook. It's bacon. They got it on 375 right now. I'm supposed to be on 450. It ain't there yet. You got to do it like we're preheating the oven.
Preheating the oven.
Preheating the oven. Just give it some time.
Yeah, look, that's what I'm saying. I love what they're doing with it, man. That's why I'm saying, like, when it comes to Jacob, I'm like, I will. It's so bad to say, but maybe it's not. I don't know. When I see Jacob 5'2", and sometimes I got to work, right? And I'll be like, yo, I got to get home real quick. Let me see what's on Smackdown. And somehow, by the grace of God, by the time I turn on the TV, the greatness of the man in the magic boot is on the screen. And I'm like, I'm locked in. I'm locked in.
The magic
and I got to see, man. Hey, Jacob, he's got it, man. He's got it. Look, we talk about aura. We talk about storyline. We talk about how good is he going to be getting. Oh, and that man's going all the way to the top. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man. But, one big thing that happened, because it seemed like this was the week everybody wanted to make their decisions to who they want to face. Charlotte Flair. She decides she's ready for
hell, the queen.
Time.
Oh, hell.
Okay. She's ready and says, first of all, she comes out, right? Charlotte Flair comes out, strolls out after Tiffany Stratton had already had her match against Nia Jax. Beat Nia Jax. Clean. Great match. Charlotte Flair comes out. She strolling in, does what the queen always does. Doesn't have to do much, just does what she does best. And that's just be Charlotte Flair. She walks in, Tiffany Stratton sitting there just laying and just trying to get herself together, trying to recover. Charlotte's just taking her time, coming in. Actually, somebody came and even held the ropes for Charlotte Flair. Crew person. Now, at this point, Charlotte Flair sits down. She's calling Tiffy, saying, Tiffy, wake up, Tiffy. Is it still Tiffy time? Wake up, Tiffy. And then she says and tells her, I face you for WrestleMania. Now, to be honest, Charlotte Flair versus Tiffy time is a little interesting. Because a little bit after that, Trish Stratus comes around and says, she wants to have a tag team match. Tiffy time and Trishy time. But in my opinion, I think seeing Tiffy and Charlotte is going to be probably, maybe, I would say, might be a night one main event. And the reason why I say that, not because do I see Charlotte Flair winning this? No. And the reason why is because she technically doesn't need this win. Yes, did she win the Royal Rumble? Of course. But if you're going to put somebody over, you're going to put somebody you've already been having at a high pedestal of a level, somebody that's already had a successful 2024 and is already conquering 2025, the best and smartest thing to do is to have Tiffany Stratton beat Charlotte Flair at the grandest stage of them all. Now, do I love Charlotte Flair? Of course I do. Yes. Why wouldn't I? I watched this girl grow. I've seen this woman become great. I've seen her in NXT. Hell, I've even seen her when she was telling Ric Flair to get up, Dad, get up. When Ric Flair and Edge had that match. Yeah, that's for the ladder match. Man went through a table. Charlotte Flair was the only one that looked real concerned. Yeah, that's a little nugget for y'all. Yeah. If you want to talk about that, that's when I first seen her. When she was just Ashley, okay? Now we see her in Charlotte Flair. Look, this is one of the greatest we've seen in the ring. And again, this woman is a 14-time world champion. Not to say that she needs number 15 like John Cena. Maybe not. But she doesn't need it right now. And we know even if she loses, it wouldn't be Charlotte Flair if she didn't pop back up in the title opportunity picture. Because that's what Charlotte Flair's always been doing. And it ain't looking right if you don't got Charlotte Flair there. So, personally, I do 100% think Tiffany Stratton is going to come out on top. And it's seeming like she's the face in this whole situation. First things first, I really want to know what the Heartbreak Prince thinks about this whole thing. What are your thoughts?
That's Bay there. I don't know. I was having a hard time because, I love Tiffy time. That's Bay too. I don't know. I'm torn with this because it's like, okay, I don't even know where to begin. I got so many different things. So like, I feel like, all right, it's going to be a WrestleMania match. We obviously knew she wasn't going to challenge Ripley. We were talking about that last week. We kind of see her going to challenge Tiffy. I feel like Tiffy just got her legs up under her, and she's just got the belt. And so I'm after hearing you just now, I'm starting to agree. I can see Charlotte losing this because it really won't hurt her one way or the other whether she if she does lose this match. And I would like to see this young and upcoming talent like Tiffy time have her moment, have her time as champion, and kind of start to bring up this new crop of women that is coming over from NXT up into WWE and not have their torches snuffed. As we've seen what happened to other people in the past. So her coming out and challenging Tiffy time, it was no shocker there. I am concerned though about how they're going to do this at WrestleMania. I feel like the next time Charlotte wins the championship, it has to be a time where she's going to carry the belt for a while. Have the belt for a year or even 2 years, set some type of record as the longest reigning women's championship title holder of all time, whatever. And so I would rather see that. But as far as what night this goes on, knowing Charlotte, they will give her night 2. I just how she is, I can't imagine her saying, "Hey, you're going to lose this championship at WrestleMania, and you're going to be on night 1." Because I'm already thinking, what robe is she coming out for WrestleMania? That's what I want. What robe is the queen coming out in? And so, my mind is already there. And so if you're gonna lose this, give her night 2, whatever. But I mean, I'm torn with this because, like I said, and then if Tiffy loses, although it is the queen, I will feel a certain type of way about it because I just kind of hate seeing, people, this like the older regime keep doing this to younger talent. Because now Tiffy loses. Now what do you do with her? How do you view her? What does this mean for her? And so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So my thing with this is, we saw that when Charlotte won the Royal Rumble the first time, she ended up going against Rhea Ripley. So we saw that the first time around. And you make a great point, HB Prince, where you don't want to see Tiffy Time lose her momentum. Because what happened the last time, Rhea lost her momentum, and we saw her, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I think she was like a tag champion after that. So she took steps
with
back.
Liv.
Right. And with Liv had to go. So she had to take steps back, then had to climb back up. And I just don't see Triple H and the crew have them build Tiffy up pretty much since the time she got up there. Like she's been they've been building her. She's not at let's put her a tag team championship yet. She's not at that level just yet. We're not going to just drop her down to tag team championship level just yet. So they have built her up. You don't have this whole feud with Nia Jax or this whole situation with Nia Jax and not put Tiffy in a situation to make, to win this championship and put her in a good spot. They've been working on building her up for months. Now, smartly, they had her as a heel, obviously, in the beginning. Then this last time between, from the time that she and Nia were hanging out together, she was a tweener where you can see where she was doing heelish things, but she was starting to get face qualities and face things happening in her favor. Like those, it was an in-betweener. Obviously, once she switched, she go the full face mode. And then, of course, the actions of the last couple of weeks and, how Nia treated her, so on, and Candice LeRae, all that stuff. So they've worked too hard to put her in a position to take this title away from her now. Like you said, if Charlotte wins this, okay, it's Charlotte Flair. That part makes sense because we're not surprised. We've seen it so many times. But it doesn't make sense for Tiffany. And unless Tiffany's going on vacation or they've got some other plans where she needs to take a break, that's the only way I see her losing this match. But I don't want to see her lose her momentum because she's starting to become a crowd favorite. Like a really, she's like beginning to get up there. Like she's not on Bianca's level, but if Bianca's here, she's probably about right here. And she's getting closer and closer, I'm not gonna say she's Becky Lynch energy, but she's that tier that has a chance to be with that group of women. So prayerfully, they don't do this to her. I really think she can have a good reign, but she's one of those champions also that I'm afraid that if they don't give her good challengers, the title reign gets stale.
Yeah.
But but SmackDown does have a stacked roster. Bianca, Jade, Naomi. They've got people on that roster that can carry it. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is kind of what happened with Sasha Banks. And I don't know if y'all feel the same way. Like, like she would get the title and then lose it in, in a few days. And then after that, she fell down to just tag team titles. And then next thing you know, she was gone. She was just out, you know, and she was phenomenal in the ring. You had a great opportunity to do something with her. And they just kept snuffing her torch every time. Like she never really got to build any momentum, like have the title for months or anything of that nature. And I don't know. I don't want to see that for Tiffy.
Yeah.
As much as I love Charlotte, I just, 14 times in 7 years or however long it's been, I've seen you with the belt a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
I will say this. Even though I'm glad Tiffy is the one that she's facing, because I think it will help Tiffy grow.
It will.
I think to be honest with you, the better match probably would have been Charlotte and Rhea because of the history, and it would have made more sense. If Charlotte does win that match, you can justify that one a little bit more. If you wanted her to win the title, you can justify her beating Rhea And maybe eventually that becomes Rhea's like kryptonite. Like, I can't beat Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. What do I have to do? And if you want Charlotte to run Raw because you need somebody who can, help be on that level with Rhea for the next year and live in them, then you do that. And then maybe Rhea gets the title back at the next WrestleMania because, hey, I finally beat Charlotte Flair in the big main event when it matters the most. You could have done that. But that's why I said, please don't take the title from this girl just yet. She's got potential to be really great. Let her run with it for a couple months, maybe 6 months or so. Then you go from there.
And to your point, D, that's probably why they made this match instead of, because in my mind, the challenge that you should have done was Rhea. Tiffy is not to the point where she should have been on Charlotte Flair's radar. Like, as far as a challenge for WrestleMania, there's some feud, some animosity, some story there with Rhea and Charlotte. So you would think that would be the common sense matchup there. I feel like the only reason why you do the Tiffy time match is because you have plans to push Tiffy time forward. By going over on somebody like Charlotte. But because we saw a week ago or 2 weeks ago the promos between Charlotte and Rhea and the heat and tension there. Rhea saying "pick me," but you go to SmackDown and you choose I know. And you go to SmackDown and you choose Tiffy. Like, I don't understand. Like, Tiffy's kind of like in her own doing her own thing. She's on her Tiffy time. Like, she's in her own world. And Rhea's begging you to pick her, and that's who you pick is Tiffy.
Yeah, she really disrespected. Tiffany Stratton a couple of weeks ago. I was like, dang, bro, like that was she really disrespected her. So, but it's also almost like a Gunther type of thing where the disrespect and not respect. So if they're gonna go that route and like Charlotte's about to get stank nasty with it, by all means, go be the meanest heel you possibly can be.
Did you say something?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta go out there and do it. No, let me ask you this. I know we got to move on to the next segment here, but we kind of almost got the field for the women's elimination chamber. Out of that group, who makes the most sense to you for Rhea to face at WrestleMania? Because it's a pretty good group, and you got Bayley in there, you got Bianca, you got Naomi, you got Liv. There's somebody I'm missing. I think there's 5 in there now, but the fifth, the last person hasn't been named yet. But they've got a pretty good group of women in there. Who do you guys think is the one that they should go, or the route they should go for Rhea?
Okay. So the route I hope they don't go on is having Liv win this. And
I kind of agree with that.
They run this back for I don't think they need to do this anymore. I think they run that course with that. I do think the one that's gonna, if they do it, what I want to see, I definitely want to see Bianca versus Rhea, because I think that's been one they've been talking about for a couple of years,
and they just haven't done it.
And I think they might do it this year. I think they might just do it. So I'm going Bianca.
Yeah,
same here. That's my choice, Bianca.
I think Bianca as well. The only thing I don't know how to feel about it, but there's like, if that match happens, I don't think Bianca wins, because if you keep the trend of them keeping the superstar with their significant other, unless Montez Ford is going to Raw, she ain't win that match. So I think Rhea continues to have the belt. I think under those circumstances, but I also don't see a WrestleMania where all 4 major titles and nobody exchanges a title. Like, one of the 4 major world championship titles is one of them got to change. At least one. They may keep the other 3, but at least one has to change.
Well, we know Gunther and Jay is probably the change. Well, no, I can't say that, because you got CM Punk. You do have CM Punk.
It's weird.
You do got CM, and CM wants his moment, and I think it's going to be, it'll probably be this year. Yeah, because I think it needs to happen for Cody anyway. I think Cody needs to start to have his turn. Whether he's going to become the American Nightmare or not, and have his heel run or turn or whatever. It's about that time. He's been a face now for what, 2-3 years since he's been back.
3 years.
Yeah. It's coming though.
We got to freshen up his character a little. Yeah, we got to freshen up his character a little bit.
I think it's coming, and I'm gonna tell you why. This is going to be weird, but if you watched the promo last night when Drew McIntyre was talking to him, and Drew said, "Remember, I'm the one that came to you, and I tried to help you Do you remember the face that Cody made when he was trying to say, "Hey, man, I was there trying to be there for you"? And Cody said, like he did that little
Yeah.
He did that face, and I said, "This sucker gonna turn heel. It's coming." Like I know it's the weirdest thing to go off of, but sometimes
it really be just the smallest
little things.
It's the smallest things in wrestling. It's the smallest things in wrestling. Like, wait a minute, why'd you do that? And so when I saw him make that face, it's like, how do you know what I'm doing? Like, I'm not going down the wrong path. And they keep bringing it up, like small things about him, not being himself and doing this and that. So what could cause him to go over the edge? No, I'm sorry, Ricky Starks. This ain't gonna cause him to go over the edge. Well, if he loses that title, I could see where he goes away for a little bit because he has been running and gunning for a while.
Yeah,
and then when he comes back, he's the true American nightmare. Those are the things that It's a small thing. I saw it last night. I was like,
small thing.
Okay, all right, cool. I see you.
Oh man. Well, we talked about the greatness about the greatness that was going on this week. Had so much going on. I couldn't even think about it. I was stumbling. I'm being humble. No. So let's go on and talk about what's gonna be happening tonight. We know it's Vengeance Day, and let's get right into it, baby. Yeah, that beat go crazy.
It do. It fire.
Shout out to my man Drew. Hey, look, so we gotta talk about Vengeance Day. It's tonight, 6:00. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and get into this card. Let's give some predictions. Let's talk about it real quick, because Shawn Michaels is gonna be cooking up tonight. Now I can only imagine what we're about to see. So let's go ahead and get into the first match we got on the card. Is the NXT Women's North American Champion. It's going to be Fallon Haley going up against Stephanie Valkyria. Now, honestly, we want to talk about something. I genuinely think that this title is going to be changing hands tonight. Honestly, since Julia's been here, she's been around for a few months. You see how she's already got the NXT Women's title. I see that same thing for Stephanie Valkyria tonight. I definitely can see her taking that title off of Fallon Haley. And honestly, maybe this does a little bit more for the North American Women's Champion, because I do feel like a little bit of Fallon's title run has been getting a little stale. And maybe it's because they haven't found anybody that's been going crazy. I think Kalani was doing something serious. Jada Parker did pop up on Fallon and said, "I'm up next." Okay, cool. But in that case, how will we see this match? And I still think this is going to be one of a great match we're going to see overall. Then next we got on the card is the NXT Tag Champions going up against each other. We got Axiom, pretty much Fraxium, and Josh Briggs going up against Yokisha. I think I said that right.
Man's got great hair.
I try not to mess up names.
He's got great hair. Look at his hair.
It is.
Hello. Let me get the logo out the way real quick. Bam! Oh yeah, come on now.
Look at that. Yeah, we want to talk about a tag team division that's been cooking up. I think this has been one of the best tag team divisions that's been cooking up. Look, I know what I said about Fraxium months ago, but honestly, these guys have proved me wrong every title defense that they've had. Honestly, they lost it one time, then they brought it back. These guys are 2-time champions. I definitely see these guys winning tonight. Next match we got on the card is the boy that's bouncy and Ethan Page himself. All ego. Look, I honestly think this is going to be a great grudge match. A lot of spots. When you talk about anybody that's a spotsmanship, that's got that spot man in them, that's Javon Evans, man. That man's going to get bouncy tonight. Honestly, I do see him winning tonight because it's been a long. Yeah, that's definitely a pulse on that one. Next, we got my man, Trick Willie Wonka, going up against Eddie Thorpe in the strap match. Now, look, I ain't going to lie. I don't really care for Eddie Thorpe. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. I don't really care for Eddie Thorpe. Honestly, I do think his heel turn has made him more relevant. But that being said, I expect to see my man Trick Willie Wampa whoop this trick tonight with that strap. And man, you better win this, man, because there ain't no way you're gonna let some man whoop you. You
Fact.
gonna lose this, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna be pissed. And then next we got the NXT Women's Championship match. We got a fatal 4-way with Julia, Bailey, again, here she go, the workhorse himself, Roxanne Perez, and Corey Jade. Now, honestly, we want to talk about that women's division. Yes. This is going to be a amazing match. You want to talk about all these women that's up in here? Honestly, look at Julia. Julie's going to go crazy. Roxanne Perez has been having nothing but 5-star matches. And we know Bailey's Bailey. She's been cooking up. And Corey Jade, I think since her return, she's definitely been cooking up and showing she's not rusty in that ring. Shoot. Then, of course, the final match of the night is over. Ooh. Femi. Ooh. Going up against Austin Theory. Who cares? And Grayson Fowler. Look, yeah, I said Fowler. I'm sick of them. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't want to see either one of these men go up against Femi. Sometimes I really question even how the hell this even came about. Sean, I really question this match, but I'm gonna let you slide because you cook up constantly. So I'm hoping that you really deliver with this one. But to be honest, yeah, I just don't want to see Austin Theory win this. The reason why I've been saying is anytime you put Austin Theory in a title match with another black champion or somebody that could possibly win the champion, they lose. Hey, oh, you want an example? I'll tell you. Montez Ford at the Elimination Chamber in 2022. What happened with that? My man Tez was up next, about to be getting that single titles run. And who really came and got that W? Oh, yeah, Austin Theory. And he won that. And that's what I'm saying. I don't want to see that same pattern for the ruler. Over Femi.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Hey, look. First of all, how stupid is Waller's face in this?
That's what I said. I like,
what are we doing here? Like,
I don't get it with this man.
I can't take neither one of them serious. What the world?
I can't. It's terrible. I can't, man.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
I mean, when we look at this card here, I think for me personally, match I'm probably looking forward to the most, it's tough. But I would say the one that's been giving the most consistent bangers, probably Fraxium, man. They've been putting banger matches, whether we're talking about Impact,
really
because again, they've been going crazy on Impact since they had their partnership with WWE. They've been going crazy. And then it's like, honestly, every title defense that they have had has been a 5-star banger match. Again, I have said what I said about Fraxium, but these guys really know how to put on a match, and they just give it their all, man. That's what match I'm really looking forward to. But honestly, I think the match that might get the most attention, I think it's going to be that Fatal 4-Way. That Fatal 4-Way match is going to be, I think, the match might be the match of the night. I think this might be the match of the night here, man. And I don't want to put nothing over the ruler because the ruler is the ruler, Femi. But, I mean, really talk about what these women, the caliber of what this match has. We are talking about a lot of greatness here. We're talking about the Prodigy. We're talking about Julia. We're talking about Bailey. Okay? 3 women already. We're talking about greatness in their own rights. And we're talking about Corey Jade, somebody that's already up and up. That Devil could have been a champion if it wasn't for the injuries. So I think this is going to be definitely the match of the night. What's y'all's thoughts? What y'all think?
I got the women's match. That's what I'm looking forward to. I love Julia. I love her presence. I love her, her in-ring talent and ability. So I just like watching her. And I'm freshly introduced to Julia from her coming to NXT, and just her. One thing they say, like your first impression is everything, right? And just the way she came out. I love the outfit, to get up, the mask, the music, and then she gets in the ring, and it really is a beautiful thing to watch. And so, you have her, and then you put her in there with Roxanne, who's just ultimate, just heel, and then and Becky, and so it's. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be, excuse me. I think it's going to be a great match. Fatal 4-way, but I still see Julia walking out, over, with the belt at the end of the day, which, putting Bailey in something like this is great for just the fans of NXT and what she meant to NXT as far as her time in NXT. But I don't see her like really taking the belt from Julia and being NXT champion. So it's just one of those things where she's going to be there, and it's going to be that little bit of nostalgia, but she's going to put on a great match. So
yeah. I agree. I think this is the match I'm looking the most forward to. But this is a big opportunity for Cora Jade, because I think, if anything, I think she's the one that's going to take she's going to have the biggest elevation in this match. Like, this is huge for her, because obviously you're going against 3 NXT champions. 2 former and the current, and you've been that championship, that singles goal has been out of your reach for so long. Like you said, coming back from the injuries, this is huge for her. Like, I think this is a chance for her to shine. And she's actually had a really good month. She went over to TNA, did some good things over at TNA, making her presence known on that end. She comes back over. She gets a win over Bailey. You get a win over the workhorse. And that's huge.
That's saying something.
Yeah, it's saying a lot. And I don't think that she wins tonight, but she could be the one that shines the most tonight. I think it could really be huge for her. I think that Roxanne and Bailey being in this really is only to set up Roxanne and Bailey on SmackDown in a couple of weeks, where they officially move Roxanne up. I think this is Roxanne's swan song in NXT before they move her up. And so I think when this is just going to be a way to keep that feud going when the time does come. Well, Bailey's on Raw now, isn't she? Maybe I'm wrong on that. If she's on Raw, she's on Raw now. So which is good. This is good for Raw, because you need a person like Roxanne Perez. You need a person like Bailey. You need superstar talent on Raw. And we were just talking about Lara Valkyria. I hate her name. Lara Valkyria. We talked about her earlier. Who better to be the Intercontinental Champion than Roxanne Perez? She can talk. She can talk on the mic. She does have a little bit more rapport with the fans than Lara does, and she would be perfect for it. Like if you wanted somebody up and coming and new, she's the one you go with out of your new talent, because she's had the NXT title for so long, and I just think that she could do it the right way. And I didn't like when she first came and she first became a heel, it didn't feel right. She has truly grown into it. Like,
she's embodied it.
Yeah. She's truly grown into it. So that part I do like. But for me, I tell you, the match I think that's going to be very chaotic, and is this one.
Yeah.
I really think, Eric, you made a great point earlier about Kalani and Miss Parker. Somehow they get involved in this match. I don't know how it happens, but I feel like they get involved in it, and I don't think Stephanie wins, because I don't think she wins because they get involved in it.
Yeah.
And maybe at WrestleMania or that weekend,
stand and
deliver. Maybe that's a fatal 4-way, and then at that time, maybe we'll see how that goes there. But
might be Jada Parker's time. That's all I'm saying.
It could be.
That might be her time.
It could be. And I think this does set up, potential, like we talked about months ago, how this could set up, like they're trying to find ways to set up the other division. And we talked about that with the 6-woman match when they were going for the North American title. And I think this is another way for them to kind of set up that secondary tier. So that's the match I think will probably be the most chaotic, and something that we're going to be like, whoa. We'll talk about that one a little bit more than some of the others.
Yeah. I agree. I like how you said that, because I didn't think about that at first, but then I'm like really thinking like, yeah, this could be the one. And it does make sense, because even on NXT, like the last time when we seen them, it was like, Fallon said something about Jada Parker. Like, actually, I'm sorry. Kalani was saying something about Jada Parker. Jada Parker pops up in the midst of Fallon Haley talking with the group. So I do agree with you. I do think there's gonna be something that's gonna come around.
Chaotic.
So yeah,
Chaotic.
Yeah, I think they're starting. I think they really are starting something up with them, and I think it's looking good. It's looking good for that tier.
Yeah,
especially for that title. They got something.
Yeah, but I am rooting for Tonka's son tonight. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. I'm not. I'm not. I'm joking. Trick Willie all day. It's Tonka's son, man. That's.
Oh God, man. Nah, yeah. Trick man, look. Trick Willie, he got to win this, man. He got to win this, man. He got to win this. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Yeah, you can't get beat. You said it earlier. You cannot get beat. You cannot get beat with a strap. Black History Month.
Black History Month. You can't do that.
Man, you lose this.
That's crazy.
We might have to disown you for the next 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying.
At least for the next 2 weeks.
2 months. I ain't gonna see you next to WrestleMania time. That's when I care about your Trick. I can't let that. You can't let that happen, man. Not the Trick.
That's great. Man. That's great.
That's really good, man. But we talked about a few great things that happened with this week. We talked about the 2 hours and 30 minutes of fire with Raw. We talked about NXT with the return and then their debut of seeing Ricky Starks, possibly Ricky Starks, with the women's division also with them. We talked about SmackDown. We talked about the man with the magic boot. We talked about what was going on with Charlotte Flair. And of course, we talked about what we're going to be expecting to see from Vengeance Day tonight. Again, we thank you guys again always for tapping in, tuning in, and watching us every week. Guys, what we need y'all to do, y'all got to follow us on our other social medias. Look, I ain't going to lie. It's been looking dry. Why? Because y'all ain't sitting there subscribing and following us. So y'all need to do it. Okay, look, we got a lot more content coming out for y'all. So make sure you guys like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, and let us know what you're thinking about it. And let us know if you got a topic that y'all want us to talk about and discuss. We'll talk about it because 9 times out of 10, we're always gonna. But I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. We got the man that can only check you in to the Heartbreak Hotel, the Heartbreak Prince, and the legacy maker himself.
Hotel. This is Heartbreak
Hotel. And we got the legacy maker himself, Mr. Xclusive. So again, what we do, we make sure that we are the best there is, the best there was, the best that ever will be. And we always make sure that your nights will never
be the same.